one lonely denim bolt in front of this quilt.
One is the loneliest number. Oh, that's
No one's out there. No one's hearing our songs.
They'll be a coming.
Oh, there they go. Here's our lonely denim bolt.
Oh, Donna,
We'll be
you are
featuring
so
it.
prompt. I love that. So are you, Jan. You guys are good.
Jan, it was good seeing you yesterday. It's good to have people back in the
It's
store.
so fun having people back in the store. We love it. Hey, Lib. Yep, it is
Hey,
fun.
Helena,
and
good to see
Helena's
you.
Yep, it's good.
All right, we got to get something instead of this denim bolt here.
Oh, how about I come in front of the da 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 da?
Hello.
Hi, everybody. How are you? I haven't seen you all in so long. I am not doing the Facebook Live today. It's still going to be Miss Pam, but I wanted to tell you about something that many of you have heard about and have been asking about. So Kimberbell has a mystery that is coming out in August. It's called Love Notes Mystery Quilt. And it's not Valentine's Day and it's not cutesy, but it's about the people and the connections that make you feel love and warm in your world. So it's Kimberbell, so I'm sure it'll be really, really cute. It is going to be an embroidery version. There's also a sewing version, but we're going to focus on the embroidery version. And you sign up through the quilt shop. You come and get your clues at the quilt shop. It actually is a program that runs from August 3rd through the entire month. Each Monday, there'll be a new clue and a new video from Kimberbell showing you how to use all the cool stuff. And we're pre-selling entry into this program. So if you were to buy each of the things individually, it would be $170. It would include all of your fabric, all of the embellishments, and you know Kimberbell has great embellishments, plus all of your design CDs. So it'll be the whole package to make a love note quilt, but the trick is we want you to pre-register for it so we know exactly how many to order. We are going to be sending out an email tomorrow, so you don't have to write all this down. I just want to give you a big look for it. And then you'll see it tomorrow in your email. We're running a special. If you get it, I don't know what the dates are exactly, but we're going to make the price $149 instead of the $170. So you want to jump on and get pre-registered, and then it'll all start in August. In the short term, there's a little birdie told me pillow that's really cute. That'll be coming at the end of June. But you'll see all that in the email. So that's my little tidbit for today. And with that, I'm going to bring Miss Pamela. Here she comes.
Switcheroo.
Hello, everybody. So, we have had a lot of gentlemen watching, and we're so happy that we have our guys on too. And so last week, we did a ladies' apron that was just a waist apron from Taos. And so we know some of the men have left out. So today, we promised that we would have something focused towards the guys. So what we're going to do today is a man apron. But a man apron could also be for a woman. We have this beautiful denim, and that's what the lonely bolt of purple up here was for. But we also have about 6 other colors.
You're going to hold them up.
Yeah, let's hold them up while we're here.
Green, olive green, and the purple. And we've got a teal blue. And we have the navy blue, which I am fashioning right now. And we have a beautiful red. We also have kind of black, it's kind of a charcoal gray, and the orange, which is what I'm going to be demoing today. So this came about because the guys want something, and I was talking to my brother-in-law, and he's like, I want an apron for my woodworking. So anyways, this apron comes from one of our bolts of fabric. You need about 1.25 yards. It's got long enough ties. You can change the way you do your neck. But he wanted some deep pockets to put tools in. He wanted a pocket on the side because he's a woodworker, and he wanted a 4-inch square that he could stick in there and not lose. And then the phone up here. So I'm going to do the apron with just one pocket, but I want you to know that you can custom make it for anybody. You can embroider on it, you can put names on it, you can leave all of this off, and you can put things like for grilling, you can put things for yard work. So, but we want to cater to the guys today. So anyways, what you're going to need is 1.25 yards of fabric, and I have pre-cut things today.
To avoid any mishaps.
Last week, you know, we lost a couple of things. But anyways, when you take this fabric is 54 inches wide. And if you look at the bottom, the selvage on this is finished. So in some cases, I'm using the finished edge so that I don't have to take a hem. And in some places, I'm actually hemming the fabric. But in any case, when I talk about the length of the fabric, I'm talking about the length being 54 inches. So what you're going to do is you're going to take it and you're going to cut a piece that's 29 inches by the width of the fabric, and then you're going to make it about 32 and a half inches long.
So I'm just going to interject for a moment and let you know that last week we did put the apron instructions up on our Quilt Beginnings website. So when you go onto the website, the very first there's a COVID-19, what we're doing for being safe and all that stuff right now. Hello, everybody.
There she is.
But underneath that, there are 4 bullets, and one of them says Knowledge Center. If you go into our Knowledge Center, so you've got our website at the top, you've got our announcement about how we're staying safe during this period, and then right below that, there are 4 buttons. One of them says Knowledge Center. If you click on that, that's where you can get printed instructions. So you don't have to be furiously taking notes, although you're certainly welcome to while Pam is talking. There are going to be written instructions. They'll probably go up tomorrow or the next day, but the ones from last week are up there now. Okay, back to Pam.
Okay, so this was your 29 inches wide, and then I subcut that into 32 inches long. Now you can make this any size you want to make it, but everybody always wants measurements because they want to make it exactly like we did. But if it's too big, too small, you can add or, you know, make things smaller. So now what I'm doing, this is the length of my apron. And so what I want to do is I want to cut this off. So I've got the piece that goes around the arm. So I'm folding it in half so that when I make my cut, I'm cutting both pieces exactly the same. So Katie, if you'll come down on this mat, what I did was I measured in 9.5 inches from the edge. So this is the top edge. I went in 9.5 inches and I just put a little mark there. So here's 9.5 inches and I just went like that. And then I measured 20 inches up from the bottom. So I'm going to the bottom of my fabric and I'm going to measure up 20 inches. And these are just arbitrary numbers that I made up, but it works. So here's my 20 inches from the bottom, okay? And then I made a cut. And if you cut them both together, you're cutting them both exactly the same. So I laid my ruler here and here, and I cut. So far, so good, okay? And then when I held it up, I'm like, I really need something to go around the chest area, so I kind of wanted it to curve in. So I'm like, how much do I want it to curve in? 2 inches sounds good to me. So I went here and I said 2 inches is good, and I just went somewhere in between. And this is for my non-math friends who really don't want to mess around with things. I marked it 2 inches and I literally took my little marker and kind of went like that. Now I don't know if you can see it, but I just went, okay, that looks good. And so it doesn't really matter what the curve is because it's going to match on both pieces, right? And nobody knows what it was supposed to look like.
Nice.
But that's my piece. That's literally how I did that. No math involved, just take the ruler, and as long as you cut it together, they both match. Now, if you look at this denim, there's kind of a right side which is rough and an inside that's smooth. Because all of this will ravel, I need to turn all of this under. And I like to turn it under twice, so that if I do it twice, I'm never gonna have a frayed edge. So literally, I take it to my iron, and I'm going to go under once. Now, when we did our apron on last week, we did a 1/4 inch seam, but a 1/4 inch is a little hard to do because this fabric is so thick. So again, I just kind of went with a 1/2 inch seam allowance because it was much easier to do. And it's coming on. I turned it under once, and I turned it under twice.
Love that cordless iron, Pam.
Isn't this cordless iron? This thing is
A lot
amazing.
of people have new cordless irons. They are pretty darn
We have a
good.
lot of these that really want to go to a home, so if you don't have a cordless iron, and then you can see since this is on the bias, it just turns under very easily.
Curves play so well.
Curves are very nice to play
Lip
with.
says, where's Lisa to iron today?
Lisa's on the floor. We've been so busy.
We were so busy today.
Now that we've opened the store back up, our hours are extended to 5 o'clock, so we're open 10 to 5, Monday through Friday. So now our Facebook Live is actually while we're open, so we actually have to work the floor as well as be back
it's
here.
terrible.
So all the cool kids are back here, but the working kids are up front, and they are working.
Okay, so once again with this, I can either use my Wonder Clips to hold it,
Love those.
or this was the tape you all asked about last week, and this is tape that I can't live without. So you could also take the tape and press along here, okay? So either tape it or pin it, but literally what you are going to do is you're going to do both sides. So I'm going to do one side and then the other, and then I'm going to turn under my raw straight edges, so the two sides and the bottom, everything's going to get turned under twice. Okay? So like this, all the way around. Now, once I do that, I'm going to take it to my sewing machine and I'm going to top stitch using my edge joining foot, and I'm going to top stitch from the wrong side because you can see if I top stitch from this side, I'd be shooting blind. So I'm going to go to this side and I'm going to top stitch and pivot and top stitch all the way around. Okay? So I'm not going to take the time to do that, but you could see how that would be top stitched. Now, the next thing that you're going to cut is 3 4-inch by width of fabric pieces of tie fabric. So to do easy ties, if you cut them 4 inches wide, so here's a piece that's 4 inches wide. All of my ties, I fold in half once, and then fold in half this way, and in half again. Does that make sense? Okay, so here, let's come back over to the drawing board. So I'm going to fold this in half
To find your center.
to find my center, and I've got wrong sides together. Now you can make a tube and sew it right sides together, but it's so hard to turn heavy fabric or really narrow fabric inside out. So that's why I like to use this method where I fold it in and then I fold both of these sides in again like this. And I fold it in one more time.
Nice and clean.
So it's very nice and clean. And if you notice, this edge has a selvage on it, so I don't need to turn this one under and get more bulk. I'm just gonna let that be the tie end that hangs. So I would take this to my sewing machine and top stitch all of it. So if you look here, I've got 2 of them that are 37 inches long. Okay, and you're going to see that one end is clean. That's the end that's going to hang down. And the other end that I cut off, I zigzagged across it so that it finishes it on the inside. Okay, so one end you're going to use the selvage, and one end you're going to use the zigzag. On the neck piece, you're going to zigzag both ends. Okay. Then what you're going to do is when this is turned over, so these are all finished, and this would be turned under and turned under, you are going to take your small neck piece, and what I like to do is I put the edge right on my seam so that I can top stitch here and then top stitch on this side as well. So on this side it's going to be finished, and on this side, you're going to have 2 sets of stitches. So let me show you the finished blue apron. And on the front of it, and that's how I did all of my ties. I top stitched on the previous top stitching mark, which holds this in, and I top stitched along the edge. Okay, So, and that's all in the instructions. Now, you can decide how many pockets, what kind of pockets, what you want to do to make it your own apron. So again, what I like to do, the apron pocket that I made was 9.5 by 17. You can choose however long you want your apron to be, okay? And what you're going to do on your apron pocket is we are going to finish the top edge. So we're going to turn it under twice on the top edge. Okay, so we do it once and twice. And we would top stitch it. Thank you. Okay, so we would top stitch this. Then we're going to turn the side edges under, but we don't have to top stitch those because we're going to do it when we put it on the apron. So here, let me get this. And I'm actually going to demo putting a pocket on because all of the aprons, I do the pocket the same way. And I also want to demonstrate top stitching because I pulled a FOF back here. So for all of our FOF lovers, I'm sewing on an icon today.
Woohoo! Give the FOF some love, finally.
Let's do some hearts for the fall.
Okay, so I'm going to come over to my sewing machine. And I'm putting on my narrow edge joining foot. So for those of you who have a FOF, this is what it looks like. I'm going to put it on here. I've chosen a straight stitch, and I'm going to adjust my stitch width to a -2. Okay, and I'm going to, is that iron hot again? Yeah. I'm going to top stitch on here. And again, I'm using the wrong side just so that I can see where I'm stitching it. Love the sound of this machine. Is Joan McCrae watching?
Joan McCrae, if you're watching, here you are.
She's her.
Teresa Lennon's very happy to see a
Teresa,
FOF.
yay! I know, you guys are FOF
Sue
lovers.
Nelson, too.
Yay!
Look at that girl fly on her top stitch. That needle with the flange, that foot with the flange makes it work.
Okay, so that's my top of my pocket. Okay, now I'm going to go over to the ironing board and I'm going to turn under the sides and I'm going to show you how I attach my pocket. And then I'm going to show you a dainty lady's apron too. All the pockets go on the same way. This is the same thing we did last week. And if I were at home, I'd be measuring this out, but you get the idea.
But really, with a 1/2 inch seam allowance, you don't even really need to measure. It's very forgiving. This stuff is very forgiving.
Okay, so the way I do, this is the bottom of my apron. And what I like to do is I measure up about 5 inches.
You did this last week.
I did, I sent that. So what I'm doing is I'm laying it here. And I'm measuring up, and right now I'm just eyeballing it. But I'm going to pin this in place. And so what I'm going to do is tack it down, and then I'm going to zigzag the edge. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to put my regular sewing foot back on with my IDT engaged. And I'm going to sew. So I'm just sewing across here like this, and I'm using the edge of my presser foot as my because I want that to look finished, I'm going to go to my zigzag stitch, which which is stitch number 6 on this beautiful icon.
I drop it once every time.
And now I'm going to zigzag in this area. And that just finishes it. So it looks even finished on the inside of the pocket.
You can see it coming back out the back side.
Okay. Let me go back to the ironing board so I can. And then the 3 edges that I haven't sewn down, what I'm going to do is press this up like this, and that Wonder Tape makes it amazing to hold it. But I would press this up like this, and then use that narrow edge foot to top stitch everything in place. Okay, so then I would just go back, top stitch around here, and I decide, do I want something for, let's say, the ruler, or do I want a phone? So on this one that I did for my brother-in-law, I put 2 large compartments, and he said he had fat thumbs, sorry Mark, but this is for his pencils. And then you can do whatever you want to do at the top. So he wanted something that he could reach in from the side and put his square that he uses all the time. And then this allowed him to have his phone on him. So it's just really a simple kind of a man's apron to use. Now we have a lot of lovely ladies colors too. Now, if you don't want the denim apron and you want to do a Kimberbell apron, Kimberbell has instructions. They actually have 2 lovely CDs if you have an embroidery machine. So they have the CDs for the fall, which has a snowman and a pumpkin, and they have the ones for the summertime, which have watermelons and flowers. I did the one for the fall, and I'm going to show you real quick how to do it. This is just embroidered.
So
And
cute.
Instead of doing, last week we used both towels to make the apron. This one you do your ties and your neckband with other fabric. So here's one, if you don't have an embroidery machine, you can still play with the aprons. So this is the towel. This was the other half of the towel that we used for Kathy's last week. And what you're going to do on the towel is you're going to measure 4 inches over from the top and 10 inches down. And you just cut that and turn the edges over. Top stitch it, turning it under twice at about 1/4 inch. Now to do the ties, these ties are 36 inches long, and this one they called for about 26, but I actually made mine 23 inches. But again, you're just going to take a piece of fabric 4 inches wide, fold it in half again, and since we don't have a selvage that we can use on our cotton fabric, I would just turn this under and then fold it in so that the edge is finished. So it will look something like this, okay? And then the only thing that you do differently on this apron is when I go to put my ties on this side, this fabric is not as thick. So what I can do is I can put it, so let's pretend this is where I want my tie. I can put it right here, sew it, and then flip this out and sew it down so that you have no unfinished edge here.
Nice.
So you can do that on the top and on the bottom of this. So very easy. We're going to have the instructions up. Again, this one, I just wanted 2 pockets, one for my notebook, one for the company phone, and then I can put my cell phone up here. But we have all these colors of towels. So if you didn't see last week's video, the Kimberbell towels come in.
Oh, we got the aqua back in.
We got the aqua back in. It comes in the light gray, which is called steel gray. It comes in gray, teal, yellow, red, and navy blue, okay? And again, we have all the bolts of fabric, and the bolts of fabric, do we want to see those
Yeah,
again?
let's show those one more time.
So the bolts of fabric, we have orange, navy, teal, beautiful purple,
Purple. I'm going to bring them down here so they can see all of them.
charcoal, and green.
Nice.
So we have all that. We have the towels. We have the hem tape. We have everything that you guys need. So give us a call. And we hope to see everybody again next week. But men, I want to see you making those aprons, and please send us your pictures on Facebook.
That's right. And everybody show Pam some love, because you know how we have to have we need some hearts at the end so that we know that you watch and that you appreciate it. And we will be back next Wednesday at 4 o'clock.
So we have
All
the
right.
ladies and the men's aprons.
All right. We'll see you guys later. Oh, here comes all the hearts. I love it. Yay. All right. See you guys. Come see us in the store too. It's so fun to see all your smiling faces in the store. It makes us very happy.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
all right. See you soon. Bye.